Now then, people, it's Joe, it's All Leeds TV, and it's time for another episode of Lockdown Live. This time I've got with me the brilliant Kagey, who possibly, to be fair, has the best line I've ever heard in an introduction to a video. I was in absolute stitches. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if I got it right, Kagey, but it was something like, "We're going in hard, straight, no Vaseline." I was like, oh, man, that's killed me off. It was an absolute beauty. How are you doing, Kagey? All right?
Yeah, man, all good, man. Thanks for having me back on the show. I think the last time I was on was that running, you know, that NWO style running. I know that wrestling fan that's on here will love that. But you know, when I came on during that other lockdown, the first lockdown, I think it was. Yeah. So nice to be back, man.
Yeah, good. It's great to have you back as well. And all the way from Barbados, I believe, Pat. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. How you doing, my man? All right?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. As I mentioned, got a rum coat here to calm the nerves, and I got my phone. I got a translate app in it just in case you need to translate anything say into English. So we should be good. We should be good to go.
Good man, good man. It's great to have you, honestly. It's amazing. Like, we'll have a little chat a little bit later, Pat, like just about your story, obviously going over there, Leeds fan, etc. I don't know much history about it yourself, so we'll have a chat about that. We'll just chat about all things Leeds United. As I say, it's off the cuff. There's never anything go. I prefer it to flow, and things just happen. We've got LUFC Lewis joining us a little bit later on as well. He's a little bit ill, but he stepped in as a substitute at the last minute because my guest I couldn't get on, so he's going to come and join us as well. But yeah, Pat, talk to me then. Talk to me about your history then and Leeds United. Obviously, you're over in Barbados. Have you been over here? What's the story?
Yeah, well, I grew up in a family with 4 boys, so you know it was cricket and football. So cricket obviously would have been West Indies. Although we don't really talk much about West Indies cricket these days. And then, you know, all the boys just chose their team. And, you know, somehow I chose Leeds. You know, my brothers were Chelsea and Spurs and stuff like that. And, you know, just grew up in Barbados, you know, trying to find as many links as you could, because obviously I'm 56, so I'm a little bit older than you guys. So I've been following for a little while. So, you know, so just been trying to get it. I mean, the internet is a godsend, you know. So you just get to see so much more now. I mean, they were really very hard to pick it up in the early days. So, been to Ellen Road a couple of years ago for the first time. You know what? Obviously got married and kids, and you know, life got in there as well too. So. Got to watch, took my wife with me, so we got to watch Ipswich and Forest a couple of years ago.
Did we win?
Pardon?
Did we win?
Well, yeah, we won the Ipswich, and the Forest game was the infamous Roof leading goal. So that was proper, you know. So, you know, and obviously, you know, for me personally, obviously so far away, you know, I just want to say thanks, Joe, to you and, you know, Talking Shot and, you know, everybody else that just makes it a pleasure, you know, to watch on a night, because obviously you guys are 4 to 5 hours before me. So, you know, by the time I get home and I make sure everything's okay, you know, I get to watch it more on a night time. So it's all good, you know, podcast during the day, you know, you watch them while you go home I'll go to work on the day and stuff like that. But, you know, it's great. And then 2 years ago, that magical man just appeared at our door. And it's just never been the same. I mean, I've never, you know, you have never seen a transformation like that in my life. So it's all good.
It's good, man. Great, man. Great. Honestly, Pat, and thank you so much for your support, man. That's what we do it for. And if we can, you know, help, you know, people get a feel of what it's like over here, etc., especially when you're abroad, and that's what it's all about. And I don't know if you know Pat as well, Kagey. Kagey is a huge Leeds fan and has got his own YouTube stuff, so make sure you check out Kagey as well. But yeah, Kagey, what's been going on with you, man? What's going on with the channel and stuff lately? Anything new?
Yeah, man. No, I've just got the laptop going, so I'm gonna hopefully get some streams going with other people that I speak to, and just talk about Leeds and other clubs. You know, I'm not just going to restrict it to Leeds United, but I'm just doing match reactions at the minute. You know, it's very new. The channel's like what, a couple months old, so I'm just getting it up and running, getting into a rhythm. It's building up slowly. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Any Leeds fans that like to debate, got opinions or whatever it is, go over and follow my channel. You know, I'm on the road to 1,000, so hopefully I'll be there very soon.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man, no, it's good. It's, you know what, it keeps you when you got your own channel, it keeps you responsible for your content as well, and it's always on record for when you've said something as well. Like if you rate a player, you could say that, look, go back to a video I did however long ago and see how I was talking about this player. On the flip side, you get clipped up, and as you guys, as you guys very well know. I mean, hey, you guys, that clip is still going around. You know,
I know.
Like
Mike Goldbridge keeps doing it, man. He keeps doing this, man. He put out a video the other day about when you've spent 250 million and you lose to Chelsea. You spent 250 million and you get beat by Leicester, and then it's that video again, man, and it is what it is, though, man. He's
going to live forever. What's that guy's name again?
Jack.
Yeah, he's living forever on the internet, man. People are going to die on that forever. It was hilarious, though. You know, obviously it wasn't funny at the time to him, but I'm sure when he looks back at it, he'll find the humor in it anyway.
Yeah, that's the same for me. You know, at the time it's like, oh god, but then people say, man, trust you. You'll laugh back, and then I see Paddy Power do bits, and I was just laughing, man. It is what it is. Yeah. These things happen. You stick your head above the parapet.
Exactly.
You know, it is what it is.
And that's what I say about it as well, Joe. Not everybody can get on camera and talk about football, you know, cohesively. So, you know, all credit to the people that get on and do live streaming. I know a couple of people want me to do live streams, but I'm not there yet. I need to control how I react when we concede a goal before I can do a live stream.
It's tough, man. It's tough, you know. When I do the live watch-alongs as well, especially when we're playing poor, it's so tough to try and keep engaged, you know, because I'm emotional as well, you know. I'm like that. I can rein it in though, you know.
Yeah.
However, on the flip side, when we score, I'm different. But when we're losing, it's But if you contrast that with how I am at the ground and that, it's like chalk and cheese, you know what I mean? But I have learned a little bit to try and. But it is tough. It is tough, man. I'm not going to lie. But I don't know if you guys have seen. Obviously, lately the state of the pitch has been quite a big thing. And then I'm checking on social media now. I don't know if you've seen it, Kagey. They look like they're relaying it. Is that right, or just putting new turf? What's
I mean, I don't know how official that source is that said it, but I mean, if they can do it and do any kind of job just to get it looking level again, then all better, because the way that we play football, you could see what was going on against Brighton. You know, we're trying to do long balls all the time. The ball's going out of play nearly every time. Yeah. So we need to play short passes on the pitch. That pitch isn't going to do it. If we're someone like, say, Burnley or someone like that, then it would be all right.
Yeah.
But, you know, for a Premier League club as well to have a pitch looking like that, it does look embarrassing and all.
Yeah.
You know, I know it couldn't be helped. I've read the notes and everything, but the pitch is atrocious, and it didn't help us in that Brighton game. Even though looking back at that game, I don't think we was going to score anyway in that one. No.
It was for me, I would arguably say, and I think it's mad saying it, and I've said it a few times, the fact that we've been pumped 6-2 by our fiercest rivals, you know, beaten comfortably in the end by Leicester, scoreline wise, maybe not on the face of the game, but I think arguably for me, Brighton was up there as one of the worst performances of the season for me, just because we looked devoid of any ideas. And I know people said, oh, we were better in the second half. Yes, we were, but we still didn't create anything. I think I can remember one decent chance, Alioski across to Rodrigo in the first 6 minutes. Other than that, I can't remember anything. It was poor, wasn't it, Pat?
Yeah, it was, unfortunately. And, you know, you almost just can't put your finger on why, because there shouldn't have been any reason for it. You know, it should have been these guys were gung-ho to kind of do a hell of a lot better than what they did at Crawley. On the thingamajiggy in the stands, I think what they're doing is they're putting down AstroTurf, because when the players are actually coming down the steps, they're actually slipping. So apparently Premier League asked them to put some sort of astroturf so that they don't fall down on the way down to the pitch. So I read that this morning somewhere.
Okay.
But in relation to the game, yeah, it was blah, man. There was really nothing to it, which was a little surprising. You know, we can all blame the pitch, but you know, both teams had to play there. You know, but you know, the one thing that was glaring to me was how was Mope so open for that goal. I mean, that's, you know, that never happens to us. You know, we never get tap-ins like that, you know. So so let's hope that maybe the Southampton postponement helps us. Yeah. You know, gives us a little time to kind of wrap our minds and hopefully come back out with some gusto, because that's our game. Our game is based on high energy. And I think that when we bring that down, you know, maybe our talent level isn't as good as the other guys, you know. So it was surprising, you know, but you had to sit through it. Not much you could do. So, you know, it's a tough one, you know, but again, you know, like everybody else, it's, you know, you got your highs and you got your lows. And this was just one of them that, you know, you were hoping that, again, you want to keep them, you know, under us. You know, those were the ones that I was hoping that we could win, because I think the second half of the season is going to be tougher, to be honest. 4 or 5 games that we're going to win, I think that's going to be tough.
Yeah. I think the thing is as well, like, I think we're all dead certain. I don't know what you guys are. I think we're not going to get relegated, and people, I get hammered for saying it. And look, we are only 4 or 5 wins away, but it would, I mean, how would it feel, Kagey, if we went on one of them style runs that we did in the Championship, not winning for a while, and we're just dying to get these wins, man? Surely Newcastle, you would hope, is the perfect team for us to be able to come up against in the next game.
Yeah, man, listen, we're not going to get relegated, and at the risk of getting clipped up, we're just not. You know, we're going to be more than good enough to beat a lot of teams here, and especially in the next one. Look at you guys laughing here.
No, I say all the
time, especially the next game, because I said we had a stinker against West Ham, and we lost that game. But, you know, in all due respect, West Ham are getting better. They've recruited a lot better, so fair play to them. You know, they have got a good team now. But then I said there was a few players out of form, wasn't there? Harrison wasn't looking himself.
Yeah.
You know, and other players like that. But I said at that time, the best game for them to have is against Newcastle, because listen, people, if anyone that knows me has ever heard me, I just don't respect Newcastle's playing the way they play at all. Like, Steve Bruce to me isn't a Premier League manager. He's a chip shot manager, and with all due respect, we should be beating these guys comfortably, especially on a pitch that is as good as Newcastle's, because they don't do nothing on it. They literally do sit back and set up a 10. You know what I mean? There is no formation. It's just everyone behind the ball. So and that will be perfect for us. I mean, I don't know how we conceded 2 goals against these guys before. You know, we made them look half decent, but that's the problem with the way we play as well, because teams, you know, like Palace, they brought in Eze. West Ham brought in Ben Rama. They know that they can get these players into games against us because of how we play. So it works for them. But yeah, I don't see us getting relegated, Joe. I've still got us down for around 10th, which is roughly where I think we'll be. We're just going on a bit. It's just bad form at the minute.
Yeah.
For me, it's just a bad run.
Yeah. It isn't. And this is the thing, innit, Pat? This is to be expected, man. I think people, I mean, especially the media, and I think it's just because it's Leeds and it's clickbaity, and there's a lot of Leeds fans, and Leeds fans jump on it and respond to it with so much like vigor because we're so passionate, you know. But we're a newly promoted side. Like, we shouldn't be getting the coverage that we're getting, but because we're Leeds United, and I think even us as fans as well, like, in our opinion, we're a huge club and we should be at the top of the Premier League and definitely battling with them likes, and hopefully in a few years we will, because it takes time, but it's all right. I mean, where I don't know where we rank in terms of newly promoted sides over the last 20 years or so, but we're doing all right, and we are going to lose games, aren't we, Pat? You know, we just have to accept that fact. And I think
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think what the hard part of that is that coming off the last 2 years where we won everything.
Yeah.
So it's no, but I think you gotta be realistic and realize that you're playing against some extremely good teams. I think Newcastle is higher than they should be, and Brighton is lower than they should be. So I may step back and really look at that Brighton team. It's not a bad team at all.
No.
So it's going to be tough, but I think once we can be competitive, which a couple of games, I thought we got rolled over. We weren't competitive. Now, you can be a world-class player playing against a championship player, but it doesn't mean you can't be competitive, and show them what to do. So yeah, we'll see. I refuse to make that statement that both Joe and Kagey are saying. Just on the, I can't make that statement. Give me 35 points and then I'll make that statement.
Yeah. No, I get that, man. Like I don't know, it's just different, innit? Because I come out and say things like, even when stats are going against us, I'll say it on Twitter, and it's quite funny seeing the vitriol that you get saying, why are you making that statement, as though I have any impact on the game whatsoever, man. It's quite funny. I think I'm confident enough to say that we will be all right, but I understand them as well that go, I'm not quite ready to say it yet. Lewis, nice to see you. Go on, mate.
Sorry, just before you bring in Joe, before that comment goes, there's one saying, let's hope we don't do a Sheffield United.
Well, let's have a look. Right. Where is that? I can't see it. But go on, carry on, mate.
Well, yeah, I mean, the whole thing with Sheffield United is that they didn't kick on from what they did in the first season when they came up. So what they did is they recruited championship. We've already proven that we're not going to do that with the signings like Rafinha and Rodrigo. See, I expected signings like this next season once we stayed up, but these guys are already planning ahead and have already realised that we need players like that already, and they've done that. Sheffield United, on the other hand, well, I mean, look what they did in goal. I know that Henderson wasn't theirs, but to get Aaron Ramsdale at that price as well, we're just not going to do things like that. So I think we're going to be completely different from Sheffield United. They recruited literally championship players that were no upgrade on their current players, whereas I think we're going to weed out and not relegate, but reduce the roles of people like Cooper, Alioski, players like this, and get better in that instance.
Yeah, no, I think you're bang on, and I think at Sheffield United, the business they have done, it's just not worked. They spent a lot on McBurney, they brought in Brewster, they needed goals, and they're having to resort to still playing Billy Sharp, and he's the one who scored. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like, not only have they recruited championship, but they've recruited poorly as well. It's like they've thrown a dart and it's not stuck, and they've then gone and tried to go with Brewster, who, to be fair, let's be honest, Brewster was an exciting prospect. He'd done well at Swansea. Whether or not he was the right fit for Sheffield United, and that's where I think they've got it wrong. But I agree with you, mate. I mean, our business this win, in the summer was class. I don't expect us to do anything in this win, and we'll have a chat about that. I was doing a bit of a Premier League chat last night with some other people, and it's quite interesting to see that there's actually been hardly any business done whatsoever. I think we've had Snodgrass to West Brom, and I can't really think of anything else of note, really. So it looks like it's going to be quiet for everyone, unless it kicks off in the last, 9-10 days. You know what January is like. There'll probably be a flood of deals on January window, but it won't be for Leeds, I don't think. Lewis, how are you doing?
Not great as you, not great as you all know, mate. Just to let everyone know, I have got tonsillitis at the moment.
Not COVID, not COVID.
No, it's not COVID. It's not. Obviously, it's not meant to be that common in adults, but I'm not favoured. So there you can have tonsillitis, mate. But I've had it since Sunday, so I'm in the latter stages of it now. So I should be alright within a couple of days. But just struggling to talk and stuff. So, but I'm dedicated to the content, so I thought I'd jump on.
Yeah, that's it. Late substitution, mate. Late substitution for Ray, actually, the very own Ray. He says, I think that you guys are right. So come the end of the season, I think we will finish 10th, and we will get Ray on at some point. I assure you of that, Ray. Thank you, mate, for watching. Pat, do you agree with? Because I'm with Kagey on that. I do think, and I've even said, I go as far as to say we could have a little. I think personally, we might have a little flirt with Europe and then drop out late on and end up about 10th. That's just my opinion, and that's what I've said from the start. Where do you? I know, Pat, you just want us to stay in the division. That's what we all want. But where do you see the landline come the end of the season, Pat? Where do you think we'll be?
I would love 12th.
Yeah,
you know, which would keep us out of that 5, 6, 7 that will definitely get into relegation issues closer to the end of the season. Like I said, give me 4 wins really fast, and I think all of us will cool up. You know, so you know, I would take, but I think all 4 of us also would take 17th now.
Oh yeah.
So you know, anything on top of that is gravy. You know, so
maybe I can see Kagey there going. I think maybe at the start of the season, yes, I would have.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. Yeah.
Not now, but Kagey's still not having it. What are you saying? He's not. He's still
Even
not
at the start
having
of the season, Joe, I wouldn't have taken 17th.
Not at the start.
No, I wouldn't.
What was you saying, Lewis? What was you saying?
Right at the start of the season, I predicted we were going to finish 9th. And
yeah,
you know that,
exactly.
Joe. I came on ALLLEEDSTV TV before the season, before we even went up. Actually, I said we can finish top 10 in the Premier League. It's such a I don't know the actual word, restricted league in terms of how many actually quality sides there are. There's about 6, 7.
Yeah.
After that, anyone can beat anyone in this league, and we are better on our day, which is most days, than at least 8 teams in this league, I would say. So 17th for me would have been. I wouldn't have been a Villa fan, put it that way, in terms of get in, finish. I'd have been absolutely fuming. Whereas Villa, when they finished 17th, as if they just won Champions League. If I were in that position, I'd be fuming, and so would Bielsa. Bielsa wouldn't take 17th.
I don't think he would stay either. If he'd have finished 17th, I don't think he stays.
No,
I think
exactly. I think he would. Because I think he'd see that as a underachieving or as a failure.
Maybe just a lot older and a lot more pessimistic as you get older. So.
In the first season is
that's what it is, Joe, man. We've had so much scar tissue over the last 15 years, especially, and I can only talk from that standpoint, Pat. But a lot of people are still thinking of us as that team with Rudy Austin and Michael Tongue and Michael Brown in the team. We're a different animal now, so our expectations are a bit different. When I look at it, because I've been watching Premier League, and I think I said this before to you, Joe, there's a lot of Leeds fans that just watch Leeds, so they haven't really been keeping a track of the Premier League. So they're seeing Newcastle, they're seeing Crystal Palace, and saying these teams are amazing, but they're really not. And that's what was disappointing when we lost to Palace 4-1, man. I mean, we just played right into their hands. You know, they were a team that just sit back and then hit you on the break with their brilliant attackers, and they even added Eze in there as well. And we played into it. But on the whole, the Premier League, if we play to our maximum ability, which we're having to do with some of these players, because I've got to admit, even a couple of players that I thought would be better than they should be, haven't really lived up to it this season. I thought we'd get at least a season out of them and then move on in the next season. But a couple of them have still struggled. And it's what it is. It's not the physical side. It's the smarts. Like a couple of these players, they haven't got the intelligence of some of these better players in the Premier League.
It's that quickness, isn't it? It's that quickness of thought from high-level players. That's the difference, and they can see a couple of passes or a couple of moves ahead, whereas ours, I get it, are still, very late. And right,
we saw it against Brighton. We saw it against Brighton, didn't we? That's how they scored their goal. I mean, Cooper had his hands on somebody's shoulders instead of getting a bit tighter and getting a foot round. And by the time he had his hand on his shoulders, the ball was gone round the corner.
Yeah, and I think Dallas as well maybe could have beat. Was it McAllister? When they played the 1-2 Trossard and McAllister, I think it might have been McAllister that played it across goal to Morpay. Maybe if he's a bit quicker and a bit wiser to that, the 1-2 doesn't happen, And I know, listen, Ayling was at fault for it big time, and I'm not having a go at Ayling because I think he's been exceptional, and arguably he's our best all-round defender for me personally. But I just want him back at right back ASAP.
Yeah.
Because he offers us so much going forward, and that's the exciting thing for me up against Newcastle is the fact that we're going to have Calvin back. We're going to have either Laurenti and Cooper or Cooper and Strauch or Laurenti and Strauch, just two centre-backs, basically, at centre-back. Dallas back at left-back. Alioski, he has good games, he has bad games, but he just can't be depended on all the time for me. He can cut a real frustrating figure at times for me. And, we need to get them players back. And then things will be all right. Things will be all right. But just on the next few then, right? So we've got like Pat, you said, yeah, we need 4 or 5 wins. We've got Newcastle away, Leicester away, Everton at home, and Palace at home. What do you see as get? Could we win them 4, or is that too much to ask, Pat?
I think that's a little bit too much to ask.
Yeah.
I think so. I think Newcastle is doable.
Yeah.
Before I ask the question, I'll answer your question. I just want to ask you guys. Now that Bielsa has kind of seen the Premier League, and do you think he'll change any because of what he sees in relation to us being so open, and whether he'll actually tap? Because we know he's a great manager. So will he just continue going forward, hope that our attack is also our best line of defense? Because we've seen, theoretically, what we play 5-0-5. So I'm actually wondering whether he will tweak it, or whether or not he will just keep going for it as he continues does. But does it make sense doing that in the Premier League, where you could get away with it in the Championship, but the Premier League is a different animal? So sorry, Joe, I didn't mean to
No,
but it was on my mind to ask what you guys think of.
It's a good question.
I'll just you make a great point, and I've made this point as well. Like this season, I think Leeds United fans on the whole are pretty accepting of the fact that we might get spanked. But there will come a time where that becomes not acceptable. And I'm not saying that anyone will be saying Bielsa out or anything like that, because that's just crazy talk.
Yeah.
But there will come a time where in the summer, I think for me personally, and I'll let the boys answer it as well, it's like it boils down to personnel for me. Like that's the issue. And I think if we get a better player, better individuals that don't make mistakes as often, that see the game quicker and more clinical, who can create better chances for the strikers, then when we have these opportunities, because let's not forget, against Leicester, Bamford had a chance before we went down before they scored. It's a different game. Rodrigo has the chance against Brighton. Crystal Palace, there was chances, even against Tottenham, Alioski from a tight angle hits the side netting. If that's someone else, maybe it goes in, or there's a chance. So I do think that's like Bielsa sees it as if we miss out on these opportunities, naturally we're probably going to concede at the other end at some stage against these top 6 sides. It all spins for me on whether or not we can take them chances, and we do that by personnel. If after next season personnel's brought in, but we still get spanked, there will come a time where Bielsa will have to look at it, I think. And I think us as fans won't continue, because we're Leeds United. We're accepting it now, we get it, but there has to come a side when I think, no, that's not acceptable. We're all right now because, we've had 16 years away, we come back in, we're excited, we love the style of play. Like I've heard people say they would much rather go down playing our style of play than staying up playing some bang average, horrible football. There was a Newcastle fan that said that, So, and I get it, but for me, it boils down to personnel, Pat. If after that, it's still not changing, then I think he might adjust, or we might have to wait till his time's up for someone to make that adjustment. I don't know, because he's very set in his ways. What about you, Lou?
Bielsa will not change the way we start games ever, in my opinion. We've started every single game the same way under him since he's come in. The thing Bielsa tends to do is if he sees a game not going the way that he planned, he'll change it during the game. But even that, is rare, to be honest. It just sticks to this philosophy. Now, majority of the time, the game plan does work, or for so long, where we can just batter teams and overrun them and you know, attack. And then against certain teams where they may shut up shop or whatever and catch us on the counter, it doesn't work. Like we tried to do it against Spurs and it didn't work. We tried to do it against Man United and it didn't work. So there's examples there, and he tried to change it in the game, and sometimes it doesn't work when he tries to change it in the game. But in terms of starting games differently, or will he change things? No. In terms of Joe saying bringing in personnel, and it may get to the point where Leeds fans get angry about being slapped, I don't know about that either, because I think we're now in the mindset that, as crazy as it might sound, 1 week we know we can slap someone, and the next week we'll get slapped, because that's our style of football. It can go one or two ways, and you know that kind of form will get you 40 points a season. So if you're looking to finish mid-table and just develop a bit, that's fine for now. So I guess, you know, Joe's point about when it gets on to sort of 3 seasons, 4 seasons, if it gets to that point and we have improved and we're still in the same situation where we slap someone, we're getting slapped and we're finishing 12th, then okay, yeah, maybe at that point it's like we're not making any progress here. So yeah, I to be fair, I do get that. But in terms of right now, I don't think anything's going to change. I think we're going to ride it out.
Cool. Kagey?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've said all along it's all about the quality of play, because we're getting all these lazy tropes now about being found out. It's not being found out. You know, Man City and Liverpool play the same way. It's just that they've got better personnel to execute their plan, whereas we're trying to do this plan but with lesser personnel. If you've got a better player in the positions where we're a bit weak right now, or even just a sub for click, you know, give the guy a break, man. We're going to be rolling out a coffin soon. You know what I mean? He looks dead sometimes now, isn't it? But we, you know, if you've got better reinforcements around, the style of play isn't an issue, because you'll have better defenders that can stop the attacks instead of leaking it. Melié's only going to get better. I've got no issues with Meslier. I think he's only going to get better. He's 20 and he's doing well already. It's some of these other guys, and what's been good, looking at the chat and even on my channel and other places, I'm not seeing you're always going to get the people that want to keep these players that got us promoted because they've got a sentimental attachment to them, and I do get that, but I'm a Leeds United fan. I don't support these players individually, because in 5 years' time, when Liam Cooper's retired, we're still going to be here. You know what I mean? I keep saying Liam Cooper like I'm only using him as an example.
That's who sprang to mind.
It's a good example, though. It is a great example.
That's exactly who sprang to mind.
And my time of that was when it was like 99, 2000, thinking that we could keep that core together and win the league title in the next 2-3 years if we added. That was my time of being attached to players and hoping they'd stay for 10 years. I look at Leeds United as a fan and as a business that it is now. I know that's a very cold way of looking at it, but as Leeds fans, we're the best people to know about how it is as a business when we saw top-class player get sold for peanuts and get nothing back in return. So for me now, it's all about progressing the club. I love the players that got us promoted, don't get me wrong. I hope in 10 years we do a big reunion and celebrate them in that way. But for me, if we're still seeing a couple of these guys next season in the team, it's very worrying, because the Premier League doesn't stay still. You've even seen Palace, they added Eze in the summer. You know what I mean? That's a team around where we are right now. Everton have only getting better. I know they've spent a lot of money, but they've got a top-class manager now who spent it better. The Premier League doesn't stop for you. We won't just stay stationary in the Championship like we did, 10 years where we finished 15th, our season's over by Christmas. And that was the disappointing thing about going out the FA Cup, in all honesty, because I never wanted a cup run while I was in the Championship, because I wanted us to focus on the league. But this was a chance for us to sneak a cup run, possibly get into Europe. And that's where you attract that next level of player. You know what I mean? So that's where it is for me. I don't mind the style of play. I know we're going to get beat. I think we all knew that. We all accepted that. The Man United one was tough to take, especially when you're going on a show with Man United fans. It's tough, man. Trust me.
I feel for you, mate. I feel for you.
Yeah, man. It was rough. It was rough. But I accept it for this season, but in the summer I want to see reinforcement. Like I just quickly, I mean, I saw that people were bigging up Tyler Roberts when he came on for Rodrigo, but if that's what you're thinking is an improvement, then you're accepting mediocrity, and I don't want to accept mediocrity for this club.
No, I do get that sentiment has to go out of the window. I do think, you know, for me, like next season, you're looking at Cooper not getting a lot, if any at all, if I'm being totally honest, because you're going to have Cock and Llorente. It's going to be tough for him. I think Dallas will be used more as a utility player. I think he'll be on the bench because we'll have a new left back, which is fine also. He's definitely someone that can be moved around. We can see he can play. I know it's not ideal, but he can come in at midfield. He can play right back. He can play left back. So he's going to be
Sorry, Joe.
Go on,
Sorry,
mate.
Joe. Just on Dallas, you need guys like that in your squad, though. Now, Dallas is one of those where every Premier League team would love to have a Stuart Dallas. I've got no issues with Stuart Dallas being here. He's somebody that I would love to.
How many aren't replaceable? If we're going to be honest, how many aren't actually replaceable in the current squad? It's a fair question. That's one.
What about you, Pat? What do you reckon? Anyone?
Yeah, I agree with KG. You know, unfortunately, you're right. I would actually love my Premier League team to have Lewis Cook and Ronaldo Vieira and Charlie Taylor at left back, and you know, but we got to look past all that. And I think if we go with a similar, maybe 100 million in the summer, do we go with two $50 million players? So in other words, you know, you're moving up that level that KG is saying. Instead of spending 520s, you spend 250s. So that, you know, because the bases will hold us. We just need that, like how Bruno Fernandes has done at you know, that team. So, you know, you need that quality above who we have now. And to me, to be honest, Calvin Phillips is really the only one, other than obviously who we just bought, Rodrigo. I think we need improvements pretty much all over. I would actually stay with Ayling as well, because I think he's a solid. And the thing we got to remember about Bielsa is that he likes versatile players. So I know everyone is saying that we want a left back, but he's not going to go and buy a left back only. He's going to buy a possible centre back, fantastic centre back, or a fantastic left back that can also play centre back, or can also play a midfield position. So, you know, it's there's not a lot, unfortunately. I love all of them because what they did for us last season, but you know, as KG said, it's a ruthless game. So, but it's unfortunate, man, because you love all of them. You know, they did a fantastic job for us last season.
Yeah, they'll go down in folklore, man. The team that took us out of that championship after all them years will always be regarded.
It's like when he'll probably not realise how big of an achievement it is until he retires. And it is that big. It is that big.
Yeah, it is. It's huge. Like when I'm at match day, for example, and you see Jermaine or Andy Hughes walking from the pavilion to the ground, they get more. They're literally, you know what I mean, and that'll be the same for this current crop. You know,
don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Going to games, man. Don't do that.
Sorry, bro. Sorry.
I can see Paddy stood there in 10 years with a Sky microphone.
Exactly.
I can see it. It will go the same way, 100%.
You are right, but just as for players that aren't, you know, I agree with Pat. I think you would, for me, not at the start of the season, but I would arguably say now Luke Ayling's not replaceable. I guess in a few seasons, yes. But at this moment in time, I'm not worried about him whatsoever. I do think Stuart Dallas is like our James Milner in respect as Liverpool. You know what I mean? I think he's that type of player for us. I think Alioski will still be here and will still be used
on his day.
Yeah, I think the thing is
lately he's kind of
big time.
But on his day, and it's been said by Bielsa himself that he could play in any top 6 side in the Premier League on his day. But
it's mad, isn't it? We created the song. We created the song. He stopped scoring goals. Bielsa said he could play. Bielsa said he could play in any top 6 side, and since then he's been pretty poor.
I think it's exhaustion. And I know that there's the whole debate about Leeds players don't get tired and all this, but when you're starting 70-odd games in a row, or however many games it is under Bielsa, I think he missed one in 70-odd. I don't know how many we've had under Bielsa, but he started every single game, bar maybe 1 or 2, if it were in the cup or whatever. That's a lot for any player at any level. I'm sorry, but it is. Everyone else
competition in his position as well. You know, because
exactly.
so long, it could be the fact that he doesn't have a direct competition for him in that position. I mean,
it's also the rotation around him, mate. It can't be consistent for him either. You know, one week he's linking with someone, and next week he's linking with someone else. He don't really know what he's doing half the time. So maybe it's a bit of that as well. But on his day, he's class. There's no denying it. And replaceable, if the form he's in at the moment continues, yes. On his day, if he gets back to his form, no.
Do you think I do agree with this as well? Sorry, Kagey, before you do, I do agree with this. I think there is an issue there with the connection with them two. I think Rodrigo's not doing enough. You know, we had Gary on the other night from Talking Shot, and he made a fantastic point. When we see Pablo come onto the pitch in that role, if you think back to Newcastle, Pablo had 2 assists within the space of time, and one of them he picked it up on the edge of his box. We don't see that from Rodrigo, you know, and I think that there's a real disconnect there. Go on, Kagey, mate. What were you going to say?
No, it's just in regards to recruitment as well, because it's not always about the sum of money you spend. It's about the recruitment team you've got. And in Victor Otto, we've got a really good recruiter. You know, he's got more hits than misses, you know, in my head now. You know, whereas before he was just like a scattergun recruitment approach, and that may have been the mandate at the time. I mean, Rafinha at 17 million is a steal. I mean, we're talking about 70 million. You've got other players in this league going for 50, 72 million. And if we ever got them in a swap deal for Rafinha, I'd be gutted.
Yeah.
So it's not always about the price, about recruitment. Leicester have proven that as well. They've got an excellent recruitment team at Leicester because they're finding gems left, right, and centre, and they're not paying out the nose for them either. So it's not always just about getting that 50 million player. Sometimes you can get them cheaper. Sometimes about unearthing a championship gem, which we've seen a lot this season as well, which has made the Premier League better as well. You know, like Ben Rama coming in, I know he's on loan.
Watkins as well.
Ezzy, you know, I mean, Watkins was very expensive, but
Jared Bowen as well, man.
Bowen, I mean, Bowen was one that I said on podcast ages ago should go, but the problem is people don't believe you until they see it. You know, they need to see it, and that's an issue that a lot of top clubs in this league have got, and which is why you're talking 50, 70 million, is because they wait for, say, a James Maddison to leave Norwich and go to Leicester instead of getting them from Norwich. So now they have to pay the 70, 80 million for them. So we've got to be smart like that.
Taking that gamble though, innit, Kagey, like West Ham did. I'm grateful for that, you know, like the kid Ajari at Reading, 8 million release clause. Get him, man. Snap him up, man. Get it done, you know. But it is good to see clubs actually having faith in the championship players, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, there have to be the right type though. I mean, you've got players in there. I mean, I remember when Scott Hogan got bought by West Ham, I didn't get it at all. You know, not every player.
The other guy as well who's at Borough now, Jordan Hugill. They bought Hugill as well.
No, it was Jordan Hugill. Yeah. It was Jordan Hugill. Oh, Scott Hogan, I think, went to Villa. I think I've got them two mixed up. But yeah, that's who I was thinking of. Jordan Hugill. It's like there's so many better players in the Championship than Jordan Hugill, and that's who you've decided to get. And that's when other clubs will start looking at it like, well, they got him from the Championship. He's not very good. When they just recruited wrong. But in all fairness, these teams are getting better with the recruiting, whether that's something systems have got behind the scenes or whatever, I'm not sure. But credit to Victor Orta for getting someone like Rafinha in for 17 million. I still can't believe it because, you know, for me, he's the most exciting player we've had since we was last in the Premier League, in my opinion.
Yeah. He's brilliant, and arguably for me, it's probably the deal of the summer. Personally, others might disagree, but I think even in time it will turn because, like you say, if at any point there comes a stage where he moves on, then you'd be looking at a lot more than 17 million. That's for sure. Do you know what I mean? Just on
if Alioski leaves, if Alioski leaves, I think he'll probably apply for a vacant position as pool attendant at the pool.
just on Klitsch again very quickly, just had to look it up just to make sure. First season under Bielsa, started 48 games, all 48 games, so the usual 46 and then both playoff games. Second season under Bielsa, 45 out of 46. The one he missed was the one he were pissed up, Derby away, so he didn't play. And then this season, 18. So all 18. So it's just, it's ridiculous. And you know, it's like Pat said, if he's not got much competition, or whether it's the rotation around.
Would you say, Lewis, we need to go out now in January and get a midfielder?
Oh, it should have already been done, mate. It's just too much for him to be starting every single game in the same position with different players around him and expected to do the best job he can do every single game. No player could do that. I'm sorry, but at any level, it's impossible. The human at the end of the day, no matter how fit you are, how able you are, it's hard. So,
and just on Lewis's point as well about Click, he was playing 45 games in the championship. It's a different type of mentality you've got to have in the championship. It is literally about you running, about how much energy. He's having to think more. He's got better players around in the midfield running past him, trying to get around him. He's got to try and get through better players. Yeah. That's where he's getting mentally exhausted as well. Because you can just see it in the guy's face. He could do with a couple games out. I don't know if we're going to get someone this month. I don't see it. I don't see the club doing anything this month. No. But he could definitely do with some kind of break.
Like the Dan Bob here said, where's the money coming from, Lewis? But I don't think the issue is money. The issue isn't money for me, because we had Cuisance done. He was in the door. We wanted a midfielder. Obviously, I was listening, I think it might have been the Phil Hay podcast, but they were saying it wasn't money. It was time, because Cuisance fell through. Rafinha was there available. Let's make that happen. You know, it took ages, as we know. We had the old fish and chip gate and all that sort of stuff. So there wasn't actually time. It wasn't actually money that was the issue, I don't think. And maybe had they have signed Cuisance and Rafinha still came available, they probably still would have gone and done that deal for the amount that they had to pay. Because it was a pittance for the numbers he's doing, and obviously Bielsa was a massive fan as well. So I don't even think it's money; it's more players that are available. But someone made a great point last night in saying that the market, like the prices that clubs are asking for players as well, is inflated due to the fact that people ain't got no money because of this COVID stuff. So although players want to move people on, they're still. When people, there might be conversations going, I don't know, but it'll be like, yeah, but we want X amount. Whereas in a normal window, it might have been a lot less. Do you know what I mean? But because teams are playing hardball, because everybody's skint. But Pat, do you think we can go the rest of the season without bringing in someone to help shoulder that burden? Or does Bielsa need to give more faith to Jamie Shackleton and play him more?
Yeah, it's a fair point. I mean, I thought Shax came in and played fantastic against Villa. He showed, and the thing about it is that, I think he can handle it. It's just whether Bielsa has confidence in him to continue a run. And I think that's the same thing with guys like Strike, he's 21 years old. Phillips had 2 years in the championship of just playing every single game to get better in that position. And so he's, I think he can, but, Click is just, he's a machine. So I think he'll stick with Click for a little while. But what I would do is to bring him off at halftime. I don't think Bielsa is giving Pablo long enough to really affect games. Yeah. That 20-minute thing, so I would bring off guys a little bit more towards halftime and give guys a little bit longer time to try and affect the game. But yeah, you're like Baby Shaq, man. He's like a terrier. So, with quality as well. So I don't see why not, to be honest.
Yeah. What about you, KJ? Do you think we need to see more of Shackleton? Because I think for me, sometimes I'm left scratching my head when he brings on Shackleton and moves Dallas into midfield and puts Shackleton at right back. I'm just like, just fucking leave them where they are, Marcelo. I know I have he's the god. I get it, right? But I just think at them stages, I'm like, just leave him where he is, because we're losing games 9 times out of 10 when that happens. So I'm like, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Just let it happen, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, we all love Bielsa, but no one's above criticism.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Crawley game was prime for that, wasn't it? I think even when I was watching it at halftime, I thought, what are these subs? I mean, has he completely misjudged this or what? And he did. You know, he messed it up. So he's not beyond criticism. We can still love the guy and criticize him, but yeah. Play Shackleton in the middle. You know, he's good at getting off the one-touch passing, which I've noticed click lately. He's taken a lot of touches now. You know what I mean? He's taking 2, 3 before he's moving it. Whereas Shackleton, when he comes on, he's doing the 1-2s a lot better. So at this time, yeah, take click out. I mean, Newcastle is a perfect game for someone like Shackleton to come into as well.
He set that run off with Dallas when Rafinha cut inside and smashed that against Newcastle. It was Shackleton and Dallas that did that 1-2 that you speak about, man.
Yeah, and he did one at Aston Villa too for Bamford's beautiful third goal. So yeah, I don't see the issue in putting Shackleton in the game, especially against like a Newcastle. I mean, if you're talking against when we go to Etihad, I don't know about that. I think we'll have to stick with Mateus Click for that. And just quickly, because someone in the comments, actually a couple people mentioned Eze. Eze was never going to come Leeds United. He wanted to stay down south, and that's a fact as well.
Mm. Yeah, and 25 million, I don't know. I mean, it's great business for Palace, but I don't think it was probably ever on, if we're being totally honest.
I think it's 16 rising to 20. So they got a really good. Yeah.
Oh, not bad at all. Just on Rodrigo, let's have a little chat about Rodrigo, because I know the jury's still out and everyone's like saying it's a bit of a spent a lot of money, was it? And I seen All Stats Out we put out a tweet and saying should we have? They did a poll. I think they got a bit of backlash from it, to be fair, but I've not seen the backlash. I just heard them mention it on the podcast. But they put up a poll: should we have gone for Watkins instead of Rodrigo, and have we made a mistake? But I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Rodrigo, Lewis. What do you think's going on? Do you think it's a lot of money that we've outlaid a guy at the back end of his career? Should we have invested it elsewhere?
Yeah, I didn't want to give my opinion on him until we were sort of halfway through the season, which we now are. And considering how much we've paid for him, is the return what we expected or what we should have? Probably not. I get the whole argument of he's coming to a new environment, new league, new style of football under a new manager, blah, blah, blah. So's Rafinha. And do you know what I mean? And he's given us... So it's the same argument. If you're going to put it bluntly and as simple as you want, he's not given us what he should have given us for the price tag and the experience. I know he's older and he's getting on a bit and all this, and I know people are making so many excuses and stuff, and there may be valid points. But for me, I would have expected more, if I'm honest. We'll see what happens. The rest of the season, maybe next season is when he's going to peak. Who knows? But we'll see.
What about you, Pat?
Yeah. What exactly is his position?
There is that as well. There is that as well.
Yeah, I honestly thought he came into competition with Bamford, because Bamford to me as well too doesn't have that direct competition, and to me also looks lackadaisical as a striker. So I thought he was coming in as a direct direct competition to Bamford, to give Bamford a kick up the bottom, and then. But he's so good, he can obviously play in different positions. So, but like Lewis said, you can understand a $10 or $15 million player taking a year to bed in. But when you come in at 30 million and you are starting Spanish international, you got to be able to hit the ground running no matter what, in my opinion. So what you can see is quality. Maybe COVID.
There's a reason Atletico and Barca wanted him, Pat. There's a reason Atletico and Barca went in for him not long before we did. And COVID, maybe a factor as well, because he's had COVID and that maybe lingering and stuff. So I think it's unfair to write him off. And I know some people have done already. It's completely unfair. We're halfway through the season. I would have expected. Yeah, I would have
Crazy,
expected more by now. I think that's fair to say. But
Yeah.
can't write him off because he's got the quality, he's got it in his locker, and I'm sure it will come through in the end. So just got to stick by him. But in terms of, I've seen people in the comments saying, I think one of you said as well, he does play too deep. His natural position is a number 9. So you know, it's like Kagey said when he come in, I thought he were going to compete with Bamford, but obviously plays behind him. Have we seen it work? Not really, not on many instances. Villa away maybe springs to mind. That's about it.
I thought he was good against West Brom as well, but West Brom were woeful. Yeah, but there's a lot.
It's just a waiting game, and it's just sticking by him and hoping the quality comes through in the end. But
I think, you know, I've seen a lot of people mentioning goals. I don't think he was ever bought for that, and I know that might sound. He's never been a goal getter, really. He's not really got huge numbers, and I think the club knew that that's not what he was brought in for. But you could arguably say the jury is still out. Where do you lie on this, Kagey?
Yeah, man. Listen, he is playing too deep. I mean, he's played in an array of positions at the top of the pitch. The central midfield, I think, is something new to him. And we can't underestimate, I know this sounds like an excuse, but we can't underestimate the COVID for him. Because, I mean, we've seen it with other players. They've come back very slowly.
Right?
Yeah, Paul Pogba was another. You know, and Paul Pogba looks like he's just getting back to his normal self now. They got a couple of players at Newcastle that were out for a long time, the Cells and St. Maximin. So, I mean, we can't underestimate that. And also, I do think it's the position he's playing. And also with this thing about Watkins, again, I mean, guys, I mean, this isn't Championship manager. Watkins always wanted to go to Villa with Dean Smith. You know, I mean, sometimes these things are not just as simple as we're Leeds United, we'll get who we want. I wish it was like that, but these players are human too, and they've got places where they want to be, people they want to play for. Yeah, it's just not as easy as we match Villa's bid and he'll come to Leeds. He would have gone to Villa. Rodrigo, again, another thing as well. I know he's 29. Sometimes you need to get ready-made players. It's not always about resale value. And yes, we haven't got what we want out of him just yet. But I think I'm willing to give him more rope than others because I see the quality when he does get the ball in advanced positions. I see what he's trying to do. And like Pat said, he's not a natural goal scorer. That was never his job. It's going to be in behind the striker or to the left. Obviously, Harrison's our first choice there. So yeah, I know why people will be disappointed with him, but I say give him just a bit more time.
Yeah, no, I agree. We're coming up to almost the hour mark. I don't want to keep you all night, and this is why I love not having any sort of script, because before we started on all this chat, I asked Pat what games we were going to win out of the next form. We've gone on a massive tangent, but that's why I love it, because we just start talking about things. It's better than having it right. Yeah. Do this. But yeah, Pat, let's go back to that. Let's leave it with that. So we've got Newcastle, Leicester, Everton and Palace. Obviously, last time around we beat Newcastle 5-2, beat Everton 1-0. I think Everton are in a much better position. They were on a bit of a downward trajectory at that point. They're going back up. And obviously got spanked 4-1 by Leicester and by Palace. So do you see, I mean, what would you think in terms of results-wise over them four? Me personally, I would hope we would beat Palace this time around. You know, I think we can beat Newcastle. At home against Everton, hopefully get something, and Leicester are flying for me. So if you can take anything there, then it's a bonus. But what about yourself, Pat? Yeah,
I would take 10 points from those. If we can get 10, anywhere between 6 to 10 out of those four. Yeah, I'm putting on my optimist hat for you, Joe. So
yeah, I was going to say, when really inside you're going, getting a point.
Yeah, so you know, Newcastle, we got a good chance for sure.
Yeah.
Everton as well too, you know, and Crystal Palace. Leicester is going to be the tough one of it. So if we can get a draw with those three, but I think anywhere between 6 and 10 points from those next four would be ideal.
Yeah, I agree. And like Mark Jones says, 3 of them are winnable. Giancarlo's like win, loss, win, draw, which you'd take, wouldn't you really? 6 points would be good. 7 points, I'd be delighted. Yeah. I think we would. And look, the Leicester's a bit of a free hit, and I'm hoping that Bielsa and the players know that the old Palace one, because that result was a bit of a freak result as well. There's some crazy moments in the game, so I don't think it really was a 4-1 game. But Everton's a bit of a worry for me. I think they're really good. But Kagey, what about yourself over them next 4, mate?
Just remind me again. Sorry.
Newcastle, Leicester, and then Everton and Palace.
Yeah, I mean, two definitely we can win. Newcastle, guys, luck it in, man. We're winning that one at least 3-0, man. Just luck it in and just enjoy it, okay?
Why?
Why?
Even I'm not that ballsy.
Oh, man, you guys need to say it with your chest, bro.
Your chest.
At least 3-0 against Newcastle. Luck it in, okay? I think we, like Joe said, yeah, we definitely owe Palace one because we lost to Leicester. That was 4-1. That was definitely a 4-1 game. That Palace one wasn't a 4-1 game, you know. And I know that sounds really odd, but there's no better way of putting it. No. Everton, I don't know how that's going to go. They're doing all right. Yeah, man. I think 6-7 points. 6-7 points. I think anything more would be a bonus.
Yeah, massive. Lewis,
7 points for me. 2 wins and a draw easily. What's AO against? I'm not quite as confident as Kagey. Just, you know, I'm not the championship LUFC Lewis anymore. Where I'll just go, we're going to batter this team 5-0 and win the league by this many points. I'm now in a position where I think all these people say we're going to beat Brighton 5-1. Then we lose 1-0. Nah, it's not for me anymore. So I'll say 7 points, but I won't say it against. Although we should be beating Newcastle, but I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we should be, man. We should be beating them. It'll be. I think if we lost to Newcastle,
Sheffield United beat them, man.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah,
bro, they've got no style of play. They are literally a dead team. Like, I know Sheffield United are the bottom of the league, but Sheffield United show more than Newcastle do. It's just that Newcastle always do enough to I'm not going to swear on this word, S-house some results to do enough to stay up. They are one of those teams where Luce was talking about that are just happy to be here. You know, they're just happy to survive, and as long as they do that's it. The fans aren't happy with it, but the owners that they've got now, that's what they're satisfied with.
Yeah, no, you bang on the money, mate. I think for me, I was just on that Newcastle game. If we were to lose it, is when I would go away from social media for about a week because the Leeds fans will just be a meltdown, absolute meltdown.
Or just getting contact with
that's what I mean. I got hammered. Yeah, I got hammered for saying that we would beat Brighton 3-0 and said that I don't know football and I don't watch football. But it's like you're not allowed to be confident. It's like I remember. Yeah, I had a period of time. There was one guy that just used to message me, and he was a Leeds fan. And we'd been beaten by. It might have been Wednesday. I was fuming. It was a night game, and I'm walking back to my mate's car, and he literally messaged me, and he's a Leeds fan. Within like 2 minutes, I'm not even at the car, fuming, going, "Told you," and I went, "Were you fucking?" Like, you're allowed to be confident, man. Don't then come at me for being confident and saying I don't know nothing about football. I can't, you know, it's easy with hindsight to say that. I was confident against Brighton. They had loads out. I thought we'd come back flying after the Crawley game. It just didn't happen. And it is what it is. But I think it was more a case of us being poor than Brighton being really good. We were just really, really poor.
I don't think we'll ever speak of Crawley ever again, if I'm going to be honest. Who even are Crawley?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The thing is, Joe, we're in the Premier League now. If you can't go into games against teams like Newcastle and think you're going to win, then what's the point? Yeah. Why would we do all this hard work, wait so long just to come up and think, oh God, I really hope we can get something against this Newcastle team? No chance, man. You know, you got to just put your chest out sometimes and say, yo, we're going to slap this team up.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Absolutely great show. Thank you so much. Honestly, it's been great tonight. Thanks so much. Make sure you smash a like on the video, guys. Pat, all the way from Barbados, man. You fantastic guest.
Man. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man. You said you were nervous. Couldn't tell at all, man. You flew through it. Made some great points, man. We'll have you back.
Lots of rum and cokes, Joe. Lots of rum and cokes.
Yeah, great stuff. Thanks for your support as well, Pat. Cheers, you're a legend, man. You're a legend. Lewis, what's going on LUFC, Lewis, at the moment? What can people expect?
Well, lockdown again has provided new ideas, if you can call them new, or stolen ideas. Basically, gonna be doing sort of a game show series, basically nicking real game shows like The Chase and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, etc., and putting a Leeds United spin on it. So it's basically a Leeds United edition. So we're gonna do The Chase first. I've got I won't actually reveal who's on it yet, but it's going to be funny, put it that way. We're not taking it seriously and stuff. Got all the graphics and music sorted, but just a lockdown laugh, to be honest. Just boredom, and should be good content. But that's about it at the moment.
Yeah, that's what we need. That's what we need. And Matt Jones says, "You're the man, Kagey. Come on again." Well, if people don't know, and you are watching it, Kagey has his own YouTube channel, man. So talk to us about that, Kagey.
Yeah, man, and like Lewis said there about the lockdown, I think I did I don't remember which match it was for, but at the time I didn't have the motivation to do the video, but I did it anyway. And it is, I don't know what it is, I don't know how everyone else feels, man, but this lockdown just feels a bit different, man. Like with the gyms closing and everything else like that, it just feels a little different this time around than the first time last year. So, man, that's what it is, man. Everyone, if you want to come over and in the comments, subscribe and talk about Leeds, whatever it is, man. And that's what I want to do. I want to build a football community and make it as good as possible. Talk about Leeds. I'm going to get guests from other teams on because I love talking about other teams too. So yeah, that's where it's Kagey POV. I mean, I think I've changed the name on there to Kagey at the minute. I'm not hard to find. And yeah, that's what I'm doing, man. Help me get to 1,000, man. I'd love to hit that mark some point soon.
Yeah, man, give it a push, guys that are watching. Those that will watch later on, make sure you check Kagey out. Honestly, he's top, and make some great one-liners at times as well, man. So make sure you check it out. But that's what it's about, innit, man? You're right. I was speaking. We had Rob Mulholland on Monday night, and speaking to him, about the lockdown. And I think that first one for us, it was summertime. Everyone had the impression that let's get through this, then everything will be right. It obviously wasn't, and now we're in weather, cold, wet, snowy, and we don't know if in March it's going to be the end. We don't know if it's going to be extended. The government's an absolute shit show, and everyone's just down by it. And that's why I said, let's do this live. I'm knackered. I said to my partner today, I don't know why I said I would do this, man. I'm out on my feet. But it is what it is, man. We're going to do it, man.
I think it is, Joe. I mean, I'm sorry to drag it on just a bit longer, but I think it's because 2020 was considered the COVID year, blah, blah, blah. And I think even though everyone knew it wasn't to be the case, everyone sort of thought subconsciously, I don't even know why, that it was a thing of as soon as the clock strikes midnight on December 31st, 2020, that's it. 2021 was the golden year. It comes, it'll be over. But even though everyone knew that wasn't going to be the case, people still sort of had that mindset. I don't know why. I had that mindset. I don't know why. And it's because obviously, you're halfway through January or whenever it was. I can't remember how early it was. You just get thrown back into another lockdown. Everyone was just kind of like, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry to swear, but it's just, it gets to that point where it's just, you're drained. Do you know what I mean? So it's, I was saying to you, Joe, earlier on WhatsApp when we were talking, I was like, we're in such, especially us. And I know there's people who are really, really lonely.
You guys are on full lockdown?
Pardon?
Yeah.
You guys are on full lockdown?
Yeah.
So
essential stuff.
I know there's people who are really lonely and stuff, and I've no one to talk to or know where to go and stuff. But we're in kind of a privileged position where we've got a community of content creators where we can just hop on a live stream or hop on a podcast or whatever and just talk for a couple of hours. And I advise anyone who's feeling down or lonely just to speak to your family or your friends or just hop on a call like this and have a quiz or just something stupid, just because it does help your mental health, honestly. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah, our quiz is on Saturday this week, guys. Saturday, by the way, we've got the lockdown quiz. Before we go, then, guys, I know I'm keeping you, but let's take it back up with a little bit of positivity. Just one word answers. Russ has asked us before we go. Player of the season so far for everyone. For me, I'm going Luke Ayling. Pat.
Melier.
Nice. Lewis.
Rafinha. He's just impressed me. I don't know why. You
don't know why? I know why.
It's just a different. It's a breath of fresh air, mate. And I know there's been other players like Ayling and Bamford and stuff, but Rafinha for me.
Cool. And Kagey.
Yeah, Rafinha, same.
Really?
You know, he's somebody that you spend your money to go and watch. So yeah. Rafinha.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Honestly, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure, and the guests were absolutely fantastic tonight. I'm going to end the stream now. Please smash a like on your way out. Keep it locked to ALLLEEDS TV. Check out Lewis, check out Kagey, and who knows, Pat might just get loads of enthusiasm and set up his own soon as well. Pat in Barbados. We'll wait and see. Thanks, everyone. Peace out now.